the foundation, 3 reasons why they don't want you using trust. Now, I want to qualify the word trust as it is used by me, Sot here at the foundation. So when I say trust, I'm specifically referencing a private trust. This is a trust, and I'm sure y'all know this, but there's new people. Hello, new person. There's 80 different types of trust, and the biggest difference that I want to expound upon is public and private. You have trusts that owe their existence to public legislation, like state statutes or legislation that authorize these types of trusts. Then you have trusts that do not owe their existence to legislation, that are actually private, and they are created by way of the private unlimited right to contract. So when I say trust, I'm essentially talking about a private contract. It's a contract. It's in the form of a trust, but it's a contract. It's a contract. Contract makes the law. The world runs on contracts. The most powerful thing in the world, I would say, in the commercial world, is a contract. Even private, in the private world, contracts are powerful. So that would be the first reason they don't want you to use trust. Number one, contracts are powerful. Very powerful. Now, is a statutory entity powerful? No, it has no power against its creator. That being the state government. So any statutory trust, this is what, known as a inter vivos trust or a living trust. You probably heard the living trust before. These trusts owe their existence to legislation. They're authorized to exist according to state statutory legislation. So that type of trust isn't powerful. A statutory trust is not powerful. Contractual trust is very powerful. It's absolutely powerful. According to Crocker versus McCloy, it's Crocker versus McCloy. I'll give you the whole citation. 649 U.S. SUP 39 at 270. 649 U.S. SUP 39 at 270. Crocker versus McCloy. A trust organization consisting of a U.S. constitutional right of contract cannot be abridged. The agreement, when executed, becomes a federal entity. A constitutionally protected organization and not under the laws passed by any of the several legislatures. Several legislatures. Several meaning more than three. They're talking about the 50 commercial states. That's what they're talking about. It cannot be abridged. It cannot be shortened. The courts can't take anything away. They can't interpret the trust. They have no power over the trust. Contracts are powerful. They don't want you to know this. That's the first reason. Contracts are powerful. Period. There's contracts that you sign, you don't even know you're signing contracts. Oh, sign this form. Form of what? This form of contract. It's a form of a contract. Contracts are powerful. Number two. Y'all want number two? It's going to be more than three. I'm going to let you know. It's going to be more than three. Number two. Of the three reasons why they don't want you using trust. Number two. This right here. This is in American jurisprudence, so it's 13. The 13th volume of American jurisprudence is the business trust volume. The 76th volume is just trust. So there's trust, and then there's business trusts. Just so y'all know, there's, if you're ever in the law library, there's two books. There's two separate American jurisprudence books that discuss trust. The same thing with the corpus juris secundum. Trust and business trust are two different things. But essentially how we utilize them in the private, they're based on the same thing, and that's contract. So American jurisprudence 2D, page 378, paragraph 5. One of the objectives of business trusts is to obtain for the associates most of the advantages of corporations without the authority of any legislative act. Without the authority of any legislative act, and with the freedom from the restrictions and regulations generally imposed by law upon corporations. Number two. What is number two? Number two is why they don't want you using trust? Because they operate free of the restrictions and regulations of state governments. I'm going to tell you this, a private trust does not file a state tax return. It's only a federal. It's a 1041. That's it. There's no state and federal return. Nope. Only corporations and individuals need to do that. And corporate charities. Private charities, no. A public trust, an inter vivos trust, a living trust, yep, state return. Why? Because it is a statutory entity. An inter vivos trust, a living trust, is a entity authorized and created by the state statutes. A corporation is authorized, created, and regulated by state statutes. An LLC is authorized and created by state statutes. And by that very fact, these types of structures, corporations, public, statutory trusts, limited liability companies, partnerships, associations, all of these statutory entities are not free from the restrictions and regulations of the state. Only the private trust is. Number two, why they don't want you using trust? Because trust are free from the restrictions and regulations of state statutes. It's free. Free of the restrictions and regulations of state statutes. What does that mean? Well, off top, if you are properly administering the private contractual entity in your fiduciary capacity as trustee, this private contractual entity is going to operate in any state and not owe any state income taxes. Now, I'm not an attorney, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not giving you legal advice, trading advice, relationship advice, no advice. I'm letting you know what I understand and what I know and what I've garnered and learned through my own experience as a trustee. Now, the state may send letters and notices saying, hey, we don't have your return on file and so on and so forth. Well, trustee training is where you learn how to enforce the contract. But ultimately, they don't want you using trust because they're free from the restrictions and regulations of the state. Period. There's no state return that must be filed. Not at all. That's if, you're operating properly. If you're operating in the fiduciary capacity of trustee for the benefit of the trust under contract. Now, are there ways that the state can pierce the trust and gain control over it? Absolutely. Commingling, self-dealing. Not acting for the benefit of the trust and the trustees. And for the benefit of the trust and the beneficiaries, but acting in a manner that benefits you personally more than it benefits the trust. Unauthorized transactions, not having complete notes and minutes of the meetings of the Board of Trustees. There are a lot of ways where you can invite and almost require state governance and regulation of your private contract. And amazingly, it's quite easily done by many people. They'll start off with a private entity and then start creating minimum contacts with the public, but then still expecting those private rights to blanket that private entity, the private contractual trust that now has minimum contacts with the public. I see it all the time, seeing it all the time. Matter of fact, you're 9 times out of 10, especially with a business trust, you're going to create minimum contacts in the very least with the public by opening a bank account in the name of the trust. That's a minimum contact. And what does that mean? Ultimately, it means that the relationship between the trust and the bank, that relationship, that business relationship between the trust and the bank is now the business of the state, because the bank has a state charter to be a bank and is governed by the state. And of course, it falls under federal regulations as far as being a bank, but let that state pull that charter, federal regulations don't mean anything. So creating minimum contacts it's something that you need to be aware of. You also need to be aware of what it means, and you must at least need to be aware or anticipate the implications. It's very important. But I'm going to read it again. One of the objectives of business trusts is to obtain for the associates most of the advantages of corporations without the authority of any legislative act and with the freedom from the restrictions and regulations generally imposed by law upon corporations. This is why It's one of the main reasons they don't want you using trust. That's what that don't exist. Ain't no such thing as a look. They either don't know or they do know, and they're trying to either recontract or play dumb, and see if they can get you in a compromising position as trustee. Because in the public, what's it about? It's all about claims. It's all about claims. Where you have claims to rights, claims to property. Commercial claims, claims to debt, claims of payments. It's all about claims. So you want the trust itself to be governed by the contract, not by any state statutes. And in order to do that, you got to properly know what you're doing as a trustee. I suggest you get into the trustee training here at the foundation. Shoot me an email, admin@welcometothefoundation.com. But I highly suggest it's something that you do. If if what we're talking about is floating your boat, you know what I mean? What we got? We did number one. We did number two, right? We did number two. That was number two. I told you I'm probably going to give you more than three. I'm a man of my word. Same source, American Jurisprudence 13. It's the Business Trust one, 2D. On page 405, paragraph 35. Quote, it has been held that public policy is not offended by permitting a business trust to be carried on by trustees who limit their liability to the trust estate, nor under the prevailing view, do statutes authorizing limited liability partnerships and corporations by implication prohibit the creation of other types of organizations, such as business trusts, enjoying similar immunity by virtue of common law. So, just because a state can grant, let's say in this instance, a limited liability company to limit its members and investors' liability to only the company and the company assets, it does not prohibit, by implication, the creation of other types of organizations, such as business trusts, to enjoy the same exact benefits that statutes authorize for a limited liability company. But they enjoy those benefits by way of the contract. It does not rely on any state statute to grant limited liability. That's in the contract itself. Straight. And just because there's a similar entity that the states authorize to be utilized does not mean that you cannot create a private entity. So what's number three? Number three is states having public entities does not prohibit the creation of private entities. They can't say, we got LLCs and corporations, pick one. You can't use a trust. Nope. Not going to happen. Just because they have statutory entities does not prohibit the use of private entities. So what's number three? The existence of public entities does not prohibit the existence of private entities. I'm going to say it again. Number three, the existence of public entities does not prohibit the existence of private entities. Something great you can look up. It's called the Hague Convention on Trust. It's from like the 80s or something. It's kind of old. And you can read through the Hague Convention on Trust, and if you read it and you understand what you're reading, you'll see that not only do they know what they're talking about, but they're also leaving room in these international laws for the superseding laws of contract. See, contract law supersedes statutory law. Statutory law is inferior to contract law. So, just understand, just because there's LLCs and corporations doesn't mean that's all that's offered. Just because you walk into a McDonald's and all they got is a McRib and a McFish doesn't mean that those are the only items of food that you can obtain. You would have to have the knowledge of alternatives and the wisdom to navigate, to journey to them and apply those alternatives. And what I'm basically talking about is private trust. All right, so look, fourth reason, even though I said three, Edwards versus the commissioner. And y'all see, I like to quote the Supreme Court. I don't like to really say it too much because I think they say it perfectly. Edwards versus the commissioner, and this is the IRS commissioner. It's a 1969 court case. I'll give you the citation: 415 F as in Frank 2D 578 5A2. I know I said it fast, so I'm going to say it again. 415 F as in Frank 2D as in day. No, I'm just playing. 578 5A2. Where the court said, dignity of a contract cannot be set aside because a tax benefit results either by design or accident. Dignity of a contract cannot be set aside because a tax benefit results either by design or accident. They can't set aside your private. The state, any actor of the state cannot set aside the trust that you administer because it allows avoidance of state taxes. It can't be set aside. Oh, well, it avoids state tax. There's a tax benefit. So this isn't, nope. Contract makes the law. So a tax benefit by design or accident. The trust indenture could say, hey, sole purposes of this trust is to hold assets and property for the benefit of the beneficiaries and to avoid taxes. It doesn't make it illegal. It doesn't make it any type of wrong. And if you have the wherewithal and the experience or the instruction on how to legally avoid taxes, your contract cannot be set aside. And then here I'm going to do the last one because I'm wrapping up. We got about 3 minutes left in the broadcast. This one is Silverthorne Lumber Company versus United States. Silver Thorne with the E at the end. THORNE Lumber Company versus the United States. Citation is 1251 U.S. 385. 1251 U.S. 385. The court said the trustees of a private trust have all the power necessary to carry out their obligations, which they assume. and their books and records are not subject to review or subpoena. Did you know that? You know that private trust minutes, books, contracts, it's not subject to not subject to subpoena. They can't be subpoenaed. It's private. It can't be demanded a review of the indenture. No, I will give you a certified notarial copy of the relevant sections of the indenture with regards to this specific situation, allegation, or inquiry. But as a trustee, I'm contractually bound to not disclose. I'm under non-disclosure. I can't disclose unless I have specific permission from the Board of Trustees, which I do not at this time. But trustees, books and records are not subject to review or subpoena. It's private. And the public cannot tread on the private without some sort of minimum contact. And when you're dealing with a private contractual trust, the state has no minimum contact unless it is created through the administration of the trust. And even in those situations, that state authority only falls in the realm of what the contract encompasses. So, for example, the trust has a bank account with Chase. Well, the state can only be party or pursue an action against the trust on behalf of the bank. So if the trust owes the bank money or, something of that nature, there was a note that wasn't repaid, the state can definitely pick up charges against the trust, and depending on the outcome, it's a possibility that the state could win. But the only reason why that it would exist is because the trust has a contractual relationship with the state chartered bank. You want to call in? Anybody want to call in now? 563-999-3625. We're about to get cut off in 15 seconds. Oops, 10 seconds. You better hit them digits. Better pop them pinkies. Too late. So think about it. What are we talking about here? We're talking about the three reasons. Actually, I think I gave y'all 4 or 5, right? But we'll keep it with that. The 3 reasons why they don't want you using trust. Of course, there's many more. There's so many benefits. I mean, in my administration of my private estate over the years, I have come to recognize and observe so many benefits to being a private trustee. So many benefits. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. The main benefit, in my opinion, is the titling and holding of private personal assets or private family assets in a private contractual entity that is not governed by state legislation. For example, let's say you have a asset trust, which is one of the trusts that is part of the education of the trustee training. For example, an asset trust most of the time does not have an EIN. An asset trust most of the time does not have a bank account. Why? Because you don't need an EIN or a bank account associated with the trust in order to title vehicles or property or assets. As long as they're unencumbered, there's no loans, no mortgages or anything like that, There's no need for a social security number. There's no need for a trust EIN. You go into the Department of Motor Vehicles, the title of the vehicle in the name of the trust, they don't ask you for your social, man. They don't. They don't even ask for the trust EIN. They just want the trust name. And if you were thinking ahead, or if you're in the trustee training, you brought some sort of trust abstract or a trust short form with you to evidence the existence of the private trust in the public, because we don't disclose the entire indenture in the public because it's private. So they just really need to see the name of the trust, and they're going to want to know if it's revocable or irrevocable. I'm telling you this right now. If you want to title a vehicle, they're going to want to know if the trust is revocable or irrevocable. The reason is because, especially with a vehicle, in most states, they're not going to put it just in the trust name. They need another name to associate with it. So if it's a revocable trust, which is something that we don't deal with here at the foundation, if it's a revocable trust, the grantor has the power to revoke, so they want the grantor's name on that, on the title. So they're going to put the name of the trust and then the name of the trustee on the title. So if it's an inter vivos trust, one of them living trusts that owes its existence to legislation, they're going to ask for they need the grantor on the title. But if it's an irrevocable trust, then they put the trustee's name on there. And the people sitting at the computer don't understand why. Please let me tell you. They're looking at procedures that tell them how to do their job, not why they're doing their job the way they're doing it, just how. And I can tell she doesn't understand the reason why. She's going through the steps. She's going through the process. She's going through her standard operating procedure. But that procedure does not rest on actual actionable knowledge and wisdom. So is it irrevocable or is it revocable? It's irrevocable. Okay, it says here I need to get the name of the trustee. Are you the trustee? Why would they not put the grantor's name there if it's irrevocable? Well, in an irrevocable trust, the grantor has no power. The grantor is not responsible. And they know that. Well, they don't know that. The people who put together that standard operating procedure and the policies and steps on how to do the job, they know that. They know the difference between irrevocable and revocable. They just don't want you to know that. And if you work at the DMV, tell me I'm lying. Tell me that they brought you in the back of the room and gave you a little course on the trusts and the difference between statutory trusts and non-statutory trusts, and the difference between irrevocable trusts and irrevocable trusts. They didn't do that. They didn't do it. I've titled enough vehicles in their trust name to know that these people do not know why they're doing what they're doing. They're just being told what to do by whatever's on that computer screen. Same with bankers. When you're at the bank and they're looking at the screen and stuff, they're looking at instructions. They have internal sites that give them instructions on how to do certain things. They can pull up the website. They can pull up eBay.com if they want. They go on Facebook back there. You can't see what they're looking at. But they're going through procedures, step by step. And they don't know why. But today, you know why. You know the 4 reasons why they don't want you using trust. Man, I just dropped everything. Blah blah. Pick it up. And that's what I give you. That's I trust that it was a luxurious experience checking out the foundation here on High Frequency Radio Network. I just I find it really important for me, to help people, to be of service. It's important to me, and not help people until I can get what I want and then I'm out. I mean, that's disingenuous. I mean, really just helping people. I just really want to help people. And I know one of our biggest issues in our lives, most of our lives, is economics. And understanding private trust law, understanding private trust administration helps your economics, man. I know it may be difficult to fathom or impossible to picture it in your mind. Like, man, okay, so I'm just gonna print this paperwork off on my printer and go get it notarized, and then suddenly I'm using a private structure. Yeah, man, it's pretty simple. I mean, of course, you have to have the proper terms, powers, and instructions, I guess, authorizations within the contract indenture itself is very important. But yeah, it's exactly what's going on. It's exactly what happens. And I also know what it's like to have my economics tore up, and I know what it's like to not have my economics tore up. And I will tell you that I've had a much more luxurious experience with my economics not tore up. And one of the main things that allowed my economics not be tore up is this private information. The other one is, I don't give up. I'm not a quitter. I keep going. The word no is motivating to me because, that just makes me want to work harder to go here. Yes. And, I'm kind of to my core, I am a creator, whether it's art or music or situations or friendships or structures or curriculums. I'm a creator. And it's important to me to create systems, infrastructure, situations, and any other medium that can help serve my people and assist them in one of the biggest issues that we have, economics. So with that being said, I definitely want to say I appreciate you checking out the show. I trust that you learned something with the 3 reasons why they don't want you using trust. I trust that what you heard has maybe sparked some interest for you to go do your own research. I also invite you to check out welcometothefoundation.com. We got a lot of information in the PDF section. And if you want to specifically get familiar with the type of trust and entity that we use here and educate upon at the foundation, you want to, check out welcometothefoundation.com. Go to the education section and get your hands on the Trust Primer and the Foundation Trust Series Part 1, Part 2, Part 3. Or you can go to welcometothefoundation.com and book a consultation straight from the website. Or you can email me, admin@welcometothefoundation.com. Maybe you have questions. Maybe you don't just want to jump into an educational program and, just kind of blind. Makes sense. Maybe you have a specific situation with your company or the company you want to start or the company you've had or whatever it is, and you want to know where to begin and what you should do, and you want to speak to someone who not only has done possibly something very similar to what you're attempting, but, I'm serious. I just want to help you. I want to help. I lived a lifetime for myself, and it was very unfulfilling. And, some of the most fulfilling experiences in my life is when I was serving others, helping other people out. It was very exciting for me to break out of poverty and break this poverty lifestyle. It's very exciting But I only did it once. And in order to experience that excitement and that feeling, I have to share it with other people. I have to watch you get excited. It's a beautiful thing. So admin at welcometothefoundation.com, book a consultation, just say what's up. And make sure you check out welcometothefoundation.com. At the very least, sign up for the email list for the exclusive offers and content. I'm not going to take any numbers, not going to take any callers. I apologize. I haven't been on every week. I got family things going on. I'm just going to be honest. My youngest had driver's ed. It was an evening driver's ed class, and it conflicted with the show. So just to keep it real, I ain't going to, try to razzle dazzle. I had to do my daddy dance. But, I'm back. We out here. The foundation back in effect. And, of course, here on High Frequency Radio Network. So I definitely want to say I appreciate y'all checking out the show. I believe in you. If you need any assistance, even if you just need someone to motivate you and tell you that you can do it and believe in you, I got your back. But, consultation, you're interested in trustee training, you want to set up your business, you want to set up your business credit, you want to talk about personal credit, you want to know what is necessary to properly classify your business on the state and the federal level. A lot of these things, all of these things, I can help you with. I definitely can help you with. And as I said, you heard me say, I really enjoy helping people. So admin at welcometothefoundation.com. I want you to do 3 things. I want you to believe that you can do whatever you want to do. That you can achieve your dreams. Whether it's the dream that you still hold on to, even though you don't believe that you can achieve it, or that dream that you let go of because you just lost faith. I want you to grab that, pull it out of the back of your mind or the bottom of your mind or the side, wherever it is, pull it out. And I want you to believe in it again. And I want you to believe in it for real. And then the second thing I want you to do is to begin to work at that dream. Begin to work. Probably don't even know how. You probably don't even know what to do, but just begin. Just start. Most people don't even start out of fear. Fear of failing, fear of someone seeing you fail, fear. Most people don't even start. So I want you to grab that and believe in it again. I want you to begin to work towards it. And the third thing I want you to do is I want you to become what you believed you could. And I want you to hit me up and tell me about it. Because that's beautiful. And that's what we're here for here at the foundation. Moving forward, building, adding on, growing, expansion. It is our divine right. So with that being said, I want to say I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. I do this show for you. I do it for you and your family. Me and my family, we're good. I do this for you and your family. And if you and your family you're good, cool. Man, congratulations, but it could be better. And, if you're looking to have me, assist you in that better, email me, admin at welcometothefoundation.com. Check out welcometothefoundation.com. It's the very least. Sign up for the email list. You will not be disappointed. But I want to thank you for checking out the show. I appreciate you. I appreciate y'all. I love all y'all. I'm serious. You be like, well, I don't even know. You don't even know me, so, but I love you. I don't care. You're over there being negative and stuff. I'm over here being positive. I love you. Don't be questioning my love. You hear me? Don't question my love. I'm playing. I'm not joking, though. But, yeah, appreciate y'all checking out the show. I trust that y'all will have a great week, a wonderful week, the most luxurious week you've ever had in your life, in your entire life. It's coming to you this week. I said it. But yeah, y'all enjoy yourself. As I always say, take care of yourself. Make sure you say 10 things that you're thankful for before you go to sleep tonight. And every night it is important. And I will catch y'all next week. Same time, same place, the hottest radio network on the planet. That's High Frequency Radio Network. I am your host, Sot L of the Foundation. It has been my pleasure. Peace to the gods.
Doing this thing all the way live.
High Frequency Radio.